Gordon Brown doesn't care about London or England. Labour persisted in their cynical attempt to balkanise England and failed. They tried it in the North East and they failed. He persists in his cynical attempt to deploy a smokescreen to mask the West Lothian question with his campaign for all things British, and in doing so exposes an Achilles heel that afflicts all the main parties, that attempts to satisfy the demand for nationalism in Scotland have backfired and instead led to an insatiable national hunger to re-establish their own national identities, a fact borne out by the realisation that the only nation expected to call itself British is in fact England. This party are full of pioneers, and that's a tough place to be. I know about pioneering in the early days of F4J. You've got the Indians in front of you shooting at you, and you've got the cowboys behind you shooting at you, and it's much easier for the new settlers that are coming through behind. But it means we will have to make difficult decisions, hard sacrifices, and make, as many have already, great personal risks. But I know that when the history books are written, I don't want to take the easy route, because I want to be standing on that right side of history. For the first time in 200 years, I believe there is now a genuine political an alternative. An alternative that isn't afraid to take on this historic mission, that isn't afraid to say, I am English, that isn't embarrassed of who we are, not so embarrassed that we don't even celebrate our own patron saint. Whilst other parts of Europe, such as Catalonia in Spain, celebrate St George's Day, for exchange of flowers and books, we've been consistently refused a bank holiday. The only thing for me embarrassing about being English is when we lose at football or cricket. So for St George's Day 2008, I called on local councils within London and City Hall to fly the Cross of St George on the 23rd of April, and we will challenge those councils that refuse. Further, I will shortly be launching a petition on the Downing Street website and encouraging Londoners to download a letter they can send to the local council asking them what events they are planning for St George's Day. Today, I ask you to support the English Democrats, the only party that can provide the sort of leadership the English people have a right to expect, to support our vision for a new England. And I repeatedly use the word new because this country is constantly evolving and being shaped by its people. It's been a long day for some of us, but I think it's fair to say that we are here in the spirit of those that sacrificed their lives for our country, the spirit of those that gave us democracy, the Magna Carta and the English language. That I am here, because our democracy is slowly being suffocated by the imbalance of the Union and the blanket of a European superstate. Today I see a vision. I see a vision that others believe cannot happen, but I see it. I said we were going to put fatherlessness and family breakdown on the political map, and it did happen. As a young man, I saw the vision of a free South Africa. I campaigned, I was arrested, and it did happen. I saw the vision of a free trade unionist in Colombia when I worked at Amnesty International, and it did happen, and he travelled to England to thank us. I saw hope when I worked with the people from Fathers for Justice, worked with them to achieve extraordinary things, to defy the establishment through sheer faith, self-belief and self-sacrifice. And that's why when I was called by this party to step up to the mark, I accepted my responsibility to try and make a difference, to be the change that we want to be. Because if I'm to be an agent for change, because if I believe in family, if I believe in our children, and I believe in the home that we call England, then I believe in you. And I believe in your ability to make this happen, to make this change. As an Englishman, many of us possess something that none of our critics possess, and that is the power of faith and the power of ideas. It has provided me with the inner strength to overcome those dark moments, when the government is conspiring to rob you of your sense and reason, when the press are going through your rubbish bins, when Scotland Yard threaten to shoot you, when people are recording you using buttonhole cameras and parabolic directional microphones, when your phones have been bugged and your staff have been stopped in their cars by armed police, when the Prime Minister uses his 5-year-old son to attempt to bring me and my organisation down, then I know that we are winning. That when I talk about we few, we happy few, those words have been uttered when all around have risked life, limb and liberty in the pursuit of equality. They risked everything and they prevailed. What relevance does it have for us here today? It has relevance because when the day comes and the English Democrats become a mainstream political party, you will need to find inner strength. Because we don't just threaten the establishment. To them, we threaten the union of the United Kingdom. To them, we threaten with the promise of greater democracy. To them, we threaten with the rediscovered courage and the currency of ideas. We threaten to resurrect the cross of St George, for so long buried in the Union flag. We threaten with the rediscovery of our national culture, our heritage, our identity. We threaten the free, lumbering political dinosaurs with all their baggage. We threaten them with extinction. We threaten them with the promise to change the course of history of the United Kingdom. I'm tired of being ashamed of being English. I'm saddened that we apologise for being English. It is time for us to lead an English renaissance, to turn England's voice into a roar that will be listened to. Because the English are coming, they are reawakening, and we will give them something that they have never seen before. It is my honour to serve you, to serve my country and our people who hunger for the restoration of hope, common sense and purpose. In the words of Churchill, I have nothing to offer you than blood, toil, tears and sweat, and my unshakable faith in liberty, democracy and equality. But each of us is nothing without the other. On each of us depends tomorrow, because tomorrow will be the day we begin to rise up, when we begin to make waves in this mayoral election. Because tomorrow, with your support, we go into European elections next year and we will win seats. Because tomorrow, with your support, we will become the 4th political party in this country. Because tomorrow, the other fringe political parties, with their one-trick platitudes, will have exhausted their tired ideas. Because they have no vision. They offer us no credible alternative. Why? Because the tide of change is with us. People are looking for hope. They've been drawn back to the idea of England. They understand England has a new value as a political currency. They understand that all 3 political parties are trapped in what I call the U-bend of the West Lothian urinal, facing a question they dare not answer. But we can flush them out, because there is now only one party of England. In the last week, as Robin said, the people of Berwick raised their question: are we not better off in Scotland than we are in England? This tide of change is unstoppable, as people begin to understand that misplaced loyalty to the Union is increasingly redundant and does not constitute loyalty to democracy or the truth. I shall finish, you'll be pleased to know, by saying this. That in an age where an iron curtain has been drawn down across centuries-old freedoms, when the state seeks to impose undemocratic institutions upon us, when they seek to extinguish our liberties, strip us bare of our privacy, it is the duty of each and every one of us to step up to the plate and to defend our country. Because more than ever, I want my country to remain my country. So when we remember the words, "Cry God for England, Harry and St George," we remember a man who was looking to the future. We remember a man who fought valiantly in defence of his country, in defence of his beliefs. This is our defining moment now. If we can aspire to anything, it is time for us to ask not what England is, but look to the future and ask what England can be. With this party, we can construct a land of hope and glory. With this party, we can bring people together in a country we call home. With this party, we can build a new dawn for a new England, an England we can believe in.